Hi, my name is Braylon Turner. This is my Dispositions to Teach video. There are many dispositions that a teacher needs to possess in order to become successful and effective. I feel like the disposition that I currently possess is a positive outlook on things, dedication, and respect. I try to make sure that I keep a positive outlook on everything in my normal everyday life. When something goes wrong, instead of dwelling on that issue, I try to think of ways that I can fix it or make things easier. Being upset about something is not going to change the situation. This leads to the disposition of dedication. I am dedicated to trying to be the best teacher that I possibly can be. Staying dedicated to the learning of your students is incredibly important to me. Students can tell if their teacher is not dedicated to them or their learning or their development. This can make them not want to learn or succeed. If a teacher is dedicated to their students, then in turn the students will be dedicated to their learning and their development. Finally, I feel like I already possess the respect disposition. It is essential to treat your coworkers, your boss, and your students with respect. Being respectful to your coworkers is crucial because they can help when needed, as well as our boss. And being respectful and building relationships with these people can make things easier later on. And when it comes to respecting students, if a teacher shows each student the respect that they're looking for, then those students will in turn respect that teacher. And I feel like this is vital when it comes to day-to-day classroom engagement. The dispositions that I need to work on before I enter the classroom as a first year teacher are professionalism and awareness. These are both critical dispositions that every teacher should work on and possess. When it comes to professionalism, some laws and policies need to be adhered to. As a teacher, it is essential to be aware of these laws and policies so they are not broken. Being professional also includes being reliable. Being reliable is extremely important when it comes to being a successful teacher. The students and the coworkers need to have access to teachers in case of emergencies, for help with homework, and among other things. Awareness is another thing that I think I would have to work on. This not only includes self-awareness, but being aware of my surroundings as well. When teaching, teachers are responsible for the students that are in their class. And it is essential to be aware of your surroundings because there are many things going on at once, and we need to make sure that the students are safe and that they stay motivated. Going into teaching for the first year, there are many things that I think that I'm going to have to work on. However, I feel like these are the most important. Teachers use their moral and ethical standards as a guideline. A professional educator should always behave professionally. There are many different attributes that a teacher should have as well. These include strong communication, good listening skills, adaptability, engagement, patience, collaboration, and empathy. Each one of these attributes is important. Strong communication is vital because it's part of a teacher's job to be transparent in their teaching. This communication includes coworkers as well. Many teachers depend on each other for help, and having strong communication skills with the other teachers can make day-to-day things easier. Having good listening skills is another attribute that a professional educator should have. In the classroom, teachers talk most of the time. However, students will have questions and concerns, and a teacher needs to be able to listen effectively. That way they can provide the correct information and behave effectively as well. Being adaptable is another attribute a professional educator should have. When it comes to being adaptable, teachers utilize this attribute in many situations. Teachers have to adapt to the policies, the rules, or the laws when it comes to working in their classroom. Each student also learns differently, so it's important to adapt to their learning methods to be more successful in your teaching and their learning. This goes well with having patience. Teachers practice patience when they're interacting with their students. Not only does each student learn differently, but they behave and act differently as well. So it's up to teachers to have patience with these students because they could be behaving a certain way due to circumstances outside of that classroom. This leads to the empathy attribute. Students have lives outside of the teacher's classroom. So teachers need to have patience as well as empathy. They have to be treated as human beings as well as students. Also, keeping the students engaged is another attribute that a professional educator should have. Children get bored quickly, no matter the age. Teachers need to keep things interesting so that way students will want to stay engaged and stay motivated. This can be done with the help of other teachers and coworkers, and then this leads to being collaborative. It's part of a teacher's job to aid in the positive development of these students and educate them. If professional educators can develop these attributes and behave ethically and morally, then they will succeed in the classroom. Most students are in the classroom for an average of 8 to 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. The dispositions that a teacher possesses can have many influences on the development of the students. The ideal dispositions that a teacher should have are integrity and respect, positivity, awareness, dedication, professionalism, and utilizing these dispositions in front of a student could positively influence their moral and psychological development. If teachers are utilizing these dispositions, they're teaching the students how to pretty much do these dispositions. They're teaching them how to be respectful, have integrity, be dedicated, staying positive, being professional, and learning how to be aware of themselves and what's around them. And these are all positive dispositions that a teacher should have that could reflect the students. If a teacher does not utilize these dispositions, they create a hostile teaching environment, and this hostile environment can make things worse in their lives. Even though the students are children, they still deserve to be treated with respect and shown that their teacher cares about them in their learning and their development. I will uphold the expectations of the teaching profession by being knowledgeable of the different guidelines. Teachers must read and know the code of ethics, the professional standards of practice, and other relevant laws and policies. Not only do these need to be read, but they also need to be understood. Each policy and law is put into place to protect the welfare of the students and also the teachers. Some certain boundaries and lines are not to be crossed. Teachers need to be there for the students to educate them as well as guide them to be good human beings. And all of these things, the codes of ethics, the laws, the policies, they all serve as guidelines for doing the job successfully, ethically, and lawfully. They're also set in place to keep things professional as well. And being a teacher, some things must be done and other things should never be done. And if teachers follow these guidelines, then they'll succeed and have a successful classroom as well. I plan to promote healthy and moral development with my students in my future classroom by making sure that I am utilizing the dispositions and the attributes that make a teacher successful, as well as following those guidelines. First, I want to make sure that I'm respectful to each student and coworker. Students need to be treated with respect regardless of them being students and me being a teacher. They're still humans. I'll also keep a positive outlook on things. Being a teacher can be stressful and things can change in a moment's notice. As long as I stay positive and learn how to adapt, then my students can see that from me and then they can learn that as well. I will retain my integrity as well. I need to build trust with my students and with my colleagues. I need to show that I have moral ethics and I do stand by them, and I have to be fair and honest, professional, and sincere. These students are with the teachers, like I said, 8 to 9 hours out of the day, so it's important for their teachers to teach them these positive things so that way they can develop positively as well. I will also be dedicated to my students. Their well-being and development is just as important as their education. And I believe that if I show them that I'm dedicated to their learning, their development, and their motivation, then they will be dedicated to being good students and good people outside of the classroom. And I will let my students know that I'm here to help in all aspects of my classroom. I want my future students to be comfortable coming to talk to me if they need me or if they're going to depend on me for help. Growing up can be quite difficult, and there's a lot of emotions and changes that can be difficult to understand and come to terms with. There are also things that can go on outside of school that they may not know how to handle. And most adolescents are afraid to talk to their parents about some things. And some of these things can be crucial. And I want them to feel comfortable and want to come to talk to me for advice. I feel like teachers need to be able to guide their students when they're feeling lost. Thank you so much.